Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to talk about the extraordinary myths surrounding so-called good and bad cholesterol. My name is Justin Smith. I'm an independent documentary filmmaker. I have previously made 2 documentary films about cholesterol and statin medications. I've written a book that has been published in the United States and has also been translated into German. I've also written leading feature articles for major publications. We know that cholesterol is essential for life. Cholesterol plays an important role in the immune system and is critically important for the structural integrity of human cells. The human body is made up of about 35 trillion cells. All of these 35 trillion cells have a membrane or outer layer that is largely made up of cholesterol. Although this is true for all cells, it can be more easily appreciated by looking at skin cells. The outermost layer of the skin protects us from dehydration and external dangers. 3 major fats are important for the integrity of the outer layer of skin cells. These are ceramides, free fatty acids, and cholesterol. That's why expensive anti-aging skin creams contain cholesterol. The skin products that contain cholesterol appear to work well according to the published reviews. When we don't have enough cholesterol and other fats in the skin, it is thought that tiny gaps can appear between the skin cells, and the skin loses moisture. The skin becomes dull, deflated, and ages more quickly. The skin also becomes less able to function as a protective barrier. But the outer layer of skin cells is just one of the many applications for cholesterol. Cholesterol is also the raw material needed for all of the sex hormones, including estrogen and testosterone. Cholesterol is the raw material used in the liver to make bile acids for digestion, and cholesterol is the raw material necessary for the production of vitamin D in the skin. And certain parts of the body, such as the brain, the nervous system, and the eyes, need a lot more cholesterol than other parts of the body. For example, the brain has about 25% of all the cholesterol within a human. So without cholesterol, there would be no brain, no digestion of food, and no sex, which wouldn't really matter, since without cholesterol, there wouldn't be any human cells anyway. In fact, without cholesterol, there wouldn't be any animal life at all. Cholesterol is an ancient molecule that is the hallmark of animal life. In 2018, the presence of cholesterol was used to identify the oldest animal on record. Researchers from Australian National University examined an unusual oval-shaped fossil. The fossil is from an animal that roamed the Earth 558 million years ago.
Dickinsonia is one of the oldest large creatures on Earth. It became up to 140 centimeters. That is simply a beautiful fossil. It was one of the first discovered ediacarans.
Scientists had previously debated if the fossil was an animal or something else, but the presence of significant amounts of cholesterol enabled it to be unequivocally identified as an animal.
Well, when Ilya showed me the results, I just couldn't believe it. I also immediately saw the significance. It was completely clear. The results are black and white. There's nothing to interpret. These creatures in fact produce cholesterol, which is the hallmark of animals, and it tells us this creature in fact was our earliest ancestor.
It is not clear if the 558 million year old Dickinsonia suffered a heart attack because it didn't take its statin. On a more serious note, the idea that cholesterol is a primary cause of heart disease is nonsense. We are told that LDL cholesterol is bad, and having a high level of LDLs increases the risk for heart disease. Conversely, we are told that HDL cholesterol is good. The first staggering and undeniable truth to observe about so-called good and bad cholesterol is that LDLs and HDLs are not cholesterol. Yes, they contain cholesterol, but they are not just cholesterol. You see, cholesterol is a waxy substance that does not mix with water or blood. Therefore, in order for it to be transported throughout the body in the bloodstream, it has to be carried inside something called a lipoprotein. A lipoprotein is a kind of bundle of fats, protein, and many other substances that moves around the body together. HDLs are a bit smaller and more dense than LDLs. So HDLs are called high-density lipoproteins, and LDLs are called low-density lipoproteins. In terms of the actual cholesterol content, LDLs contain about 26% cholesterol by weight, and HDLs contain about 20% cholesterol by weight. The rest of each lipoprotein is made up of other important nutrients and molecules. For example, HDLs and LDLs also contain coenzyme Q10, beta-carotene, otherwise known as vitamin A, and vitamin E, and some of these nutrients have direct heart protective qualities. Coenzyme Q10 is needed for energy production within every cell of the human body. The heart, in particular, requires large amounts of CoQ10, and heart failure is associated with low levels of CoQ10. LDLs and HDLs are the two main transport mechanisms for CoQ10 within the body. Around 58% of CoQ10 is transported in LDLs, the so-called bad cholesterol, and about 26% is transported in HDLs. Beta-carotene, or vitamin A, is thought to protect against various diseases such as cancer and eye disease. Beta-carotene is associated with a number of lipoproteins, but 60 to 70% of the beta-carotene in circulation is carried by LDLs, again the so-called bad cholesterol. Vitamin E supports the immune system and helps to dilate blood vessels to improve circulation. It also helps to prevent coagulation. Coagulation, or blood clotting, is a key feature of heart disease, which vitamin E protects against. So lowering the LDL level could reduce the availability of coenzyme Q10, vitamin A, vitamin E, and other nutrients. Another thing that is conveniently ignored by the orthodox or incorrect view is the tissue repair qualities of cholesterol. When cells become damaged, they need cholesterol to repair themselves. A discussion of the tissue repair qualities of cholesterol can be found in the scientific literature at least as far back as 1978. We are told LDLs are bad because they carry cholesterol to the tissues within the body, and HDLs carry cholesterol away from tissues to the liver for recycling. The idea of good and bad is based on the direction of travel. However, we can see now that if cholesterol is bad, then the other important nutrients carried by LDLs must also be bad, right? The medical establishment has also suggested that there is a mathematical correlation between higher LDLs and an increased risk for heart disease. Again, as shocking as it may sound, this is simply not true. A large study published in the American Heart Journal in 2009 found that the level of so-called bad cholesterol is actually lower in people with heart disease, not higher. The study included around 137,000 people from 541 hospitals in the United States who had been admitted to hospital with heart disease. All of these people had their LDL level measured within 24 hours of admission. The researchers found that the average LDL level for this group of people was 104 milligrams per deciliter. This was lower than the average LDL level for the American general population at the time, which was 123 milligrams per deciliter. In addition, other studies have found that people admitted to hospital after a heart attack have a higher risk of dying within the first 30 days if they have a lower LDL level. And people with lower LDL levels also have a higher risk of dying in the next 3 years after a heart attack. Knowing that LDLs provide an essential role in the supply of vitally important nutrients to various parts of the body, is it really a surprise to find that it is lower LDL levels that are likely to cause a problem? Anyone listening to this video who is still entrenched in cholesterol dogma may be thinking of another objection, namely that statin medications lower LDL levels and at the same time reduce heart attacks. There is a lot to unpack regarding this, and it requires its own video. That video is coming soon, so please make sure you're subscribed. So why does the medical establishment insist on lowering LDL levels? Sadly, it's another example of profit taking priority over people's health. It's shocking that so many doctors ignore the physiological reality and get taken in by false information from drug companies. I'm not suggesting that all doctors are bad. There are many, many great doctors out there. But their voices are difficult to hear amidst the propaganda from the commercial interests. There is a link to a full transcript of this video with associated references in the description. Thanks for listening.